It is time to podcast. What's going on, guys? We are Survivor Buffs, Adam and Gideon. Today we are doing part 4 of our tier ranking of every single Survivor season, even 39. Even 39. We did 4 parts of this. We've already done 3. We split it up into 10 seasons per part. So I would recommend checking out the first 3 if you haven't seen this one, because I'm going to put up our tier rank pretty soon up here on the screen so you guys can see where we're at. And I don't want to spoil it because we had some great discussions about why we put certain seasons in certain tier ranks. We had no limit. You know, it wasn't like we were trying to put a certain number in each. We just went all out.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, we're basing it off the same criteria.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the criteria that we've kind of been loosely following to rank these seasons are how good's the winner, how good's the cast as a whole, what else? Like is it slow or fast the whole time? I know we talked about that a lot. You know, is there any lulls in the season? Things like that. So overall, I feel like our rankings are pretty solid. Yeah. We definitely have some controversial picks because of some seasons, but I don't care.
Yeah. So like I said, we've done 3 parts so far. So this is our final part. So we're doing seasons 31 through 40, which means we are starting with Cambodia. So we're starting off hot. And then we are ending with Winners at War. So we're ending pretty hot, but I think we're gonna have some. I think we're gonna have a good mix. I think we could have some highs, some lows. I think, this one's gonna be an interesting one because I think we're gonna kind of get. I could see us getting one in each tier. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I could see it. I think this is gonna be the most. I think the first block had the most averages, your B's and your C's. The second one was our best. Highest ranked ones, you know, the Golden Age of Survivor. Third part was our lowest. I think this one's going to have all across the board. So it's an interesting mix. So again, if you haven't,
this season's all over the place. I mean, this era.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, our previous parts, I would recommend checking them out because I'm about to put our tier ranking as they stand right now on the board. So pretty even. I mean, obviously, like I figured S and Fs were going to have the least because it's so hard to say that a season is like an S, like it's a perfect season because you're going to find faults in every season pretty much. And then F is so tough because we love the show. We love Survivor. It's so hard to say it's a bad season. Like if you would say, hey, would you rather just stare at paint dry for an hour or watch Thailand? Like, of course I'm going to watch Thailand. Of course I'm going to watch Nicaragua. I've gone back and rewatched those seasons. It's not like I skipped them if I'm rewatching. So it's tough. It's tough to put Survivor seasons in S or F, but I feel like we have a really good balance all across the board. I'm looking at some of the comments now. I don't know what this Gabon love is. I just don't get it. I
mean, Gabon, I guess we can't go a single freaking episode without talking about Survivor Gabon. And I know the reason we talk about it is because I'm infatuated with it. Okay. Now, I love Gabon, and it's just like it stands out among every Survivor season because it's just full of misfits. I don't know. It gathers a cult following, and to a weird degree. So, I think it's what is it now? What is it now? C.
We have it as a I think it's a C. Yeah.
I think that's deserved. I don't care. Adam just left. I think Adam just left because he was so mad about how I ranked Gabon, apparently. So
Jeez, I got kicked there for somehow.
I didn't kick you.
I think I hit the backspace. Technical difficulty.
I think you left because I said that Gabon deserves a C ranking, even though it was B before. I literally compromised with you.
Yeah. I mean, I had Gabon as and you're right. We do talk about Gabon every episode. I had it as a a D leaning C. So I'm cool with it being C right now.
It's just weird, and I'm just a weird guy. Don't sue me. I don't know.
I mean, Gabon will always have that special place of being the first HD season. I actually I don't prefer inland seasons over island seasons, but they are like a refresher. Like what was the last inland season? I'm trying to think. Was it?
It wasn't It wasn't Cambodia.
Yeah, it wasn't any in this era.
It wasn't Kagai. It wasn't Cagayan.
Yeah, it wasn't Philippines. Wasn't One World. It might have been Tocantins.
Maybe, yeah, because they stopped, going on the inlands.
I really think it was Tocantins, and they've only had like what 3 or 4.
Yeah, that because Guatemala's one.
Yeah,
because Africa. Because the water was unswimmable.
Africa, Australian outback.
Africa, Australia, Guatemala, then Tocantins, Gabon. Any others?
That's no, that might be it. That might be it. Hey, maybe that's a question that'll come up at Survivor Trivia. What's Survivor Trivia? So tomorrow, most, if not all, of the members here at Reality Pop, not just me and Gideon, are going to do this was our way of celebrating 500 subscribers. We're now almost at 600.
We're almost at 600. So what the frick?
So thank you guys so much for that. Please subscribe if you haven't already. But our way of celebrating and saying thank you is we're going to put all of our guys through the ringer, and we're going to do Survivor Trivia hosted by Chris. If you haven't seen him at the International Survivor podcast, Coach Drew is going to be there. He's definitely one of, if not the favorites to win.
He is the favorite to win by far, to Coach Drew.
Well, we also got Eager Turtle.
Eager Turtle, yeah.
We also got Nathan, who is Survivor King. So pretty much the two most followed Survivor compilation makers on.
How do I
YouTube.
rank among these people? Because I know I got seeded and I didn't get a bye, so I assume my rank is low.
I think you're 7 out of 13.
Not bad.
Yeah, 7 out of 12. I mean,
because I know in the Survivor commentary community, I'm probably seen as an idiot, but.
I mean, you like Gabon, so you're just asking.
I know, that's why my love of Gabon and my love of Redemption Island plunges my, respect among the Survivor community. I know I'm hated because of that. I feel like the specialists, if they're watching this, I'm sorry, you guys, if you hate me for that.
All good. Okay. Face reveal at 600. Whose face are we revealing?
Coach Drew.
I guess. All right.
I don't know.
We are going to start with Survivor Cambodia. Season 31. To me, there's only 2 places you could possibly put this. There's no way you can put it anything less than an A.
S or an A.
It's got to be an S or an A. Is it an S though?
I think it's an S because it's like the first season, or it's the season to me that the gameplay just hits turbo mode, and I'm entertained the whole time. Sierra goes out early, which is awesome. I love that. It's a great season overall. One of the best games of all time. So a very, very, very deserving winner. An awesome Fallen Angel edit with Wentworth. Overall a great season. Nobody. While Jeremy's win was dominant and great, it wasn't a clear pagonging or domination at all. You still were wondering what if this happens? What if this happens? So yeah, I would put it as an S.
It's tough because I'm leaning. I mean, it's definitely got to be either S or A to me, but I am definitely leaning more towards A. Did have a deserving winner. Did have the greatest idol play in history, but I do think that there was a lot of potential on this season that got let down a bit. Terry Dietz having to leave. Can't blame him for that, but It obviously hurt.
Of course.
Hurt
that was heartbreaking. Oh yeah.
Fishback. That was to me a huge letdown. One of my favorite players ever is Stephen Fishback. He was the person I was the most excited back on this season.
Same.
Spencer. I know he technically made it further than he did in Cagayan, but I think he played a much more GOAT-like game. It kind of felt like he was like, you know what, if I just don't do anything, I'll at least make the final 3.
Okay.
And then he just kind of did. So that was kind of a dud with me. And Spencer too, one of my absolute favorite players. Like Spencer and Fishback are top 5 favorite players for me. So the fact that of course that might have just been the edit they were given, was that they were, kind of let the game happen around them. I'm sure they were playing harder.
The votes don't lie though. Steven went out at I can see I'm an S leaning A, so I'm okay with an A. Okay.
Yeah, and like the final, even though Spencer and Tasha are great Survivor players, I still feel like once Wentworth got eliminated in the Final 4 challenge, it was over. The winner was picked at that point.
Yeah. No,
I don't
when
like
the ball dropped. Yeah, when the ball dropped, you knew who was gonna win.
And I don't like that. I don't like knowing who's gonna win before tribal council, before the challenges. It didn't matter who won. Once Wentworth's ball dropped, it was over.
Yeah.
Did anyone get medically evac? I'm trying to think.
No medical evac, just Terry.
Just Terry having to leave. Yeah, Savage. I mean, it was great idol play, but it sucks seeing Savage go. Cass and Spencer. It was like the hottest rivalry.
Cass a huge letdown.
Yeah.
She tried to change her gameplay. It didn't work. Which she embraced the season theme of second chance, but her second chance was a huge letdown. She did better as Chaos Cass.
Yeah, I just feel like it was kind of slow in the first half. I think there was wasn't there multiple tribe swaps? It didn't seem like the Survivor production gave them much time to bond. And then the merge came super early that season. There was really no alliance.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean that wasn't that one of the earliest merges of all time. I just remember that merge episode. Tribal Council was crowded, more crowded than I had ever noticed before. How many people were there? 12?
I think it was 13.
Yeah, maybe 13. Yeah, that was true. I can see why it's an A. I'm not going to fight you on this one.
But the tribal council with Kimmy, where Kimmy went home, is also one of the single greatest tribal councils we've ever seen. So it does have. It's probably
where Keith is let her have it.
Yeah. It's probably I want to put it in A, but it's probably the highest an A can be.
I'm actually okay with that. If it was just me making this, I'd probably put it as an S. Put the lowest S.
Because I think it's better than Borneo. I think it's better than All Stars. It's see, now that I'm looking at I think it might be on par with I think it's better than Blood and Water. But I would put it on par with Cook Islands, China, Micronesia, Tocantins. So now that
I think it toes that line. We move Cook Islands down. It's it toes that line.
Yeah. So okay. Put the bond here. Just my OCD. Having to put them in order. Okay, so Kaôh Rōng, season 32.
I don't hate the season. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. We got Aubrey. Aubrey was great. Ty was a little tough, or not Ty. Scott was a little tough to watch. But the moment that where Ty didn't play his 2 idols was somewhat cringy, but it was it kind of made me happy. Kind of like that moment.
Well, yeah, because I mean, and the whole time, if you think about it, the production and the editors are setting that up for that to happen. Scott, this great, powerful villain who is using Ty, pulling the strings on Ty, but has to rely on Ty to play the Super Idol, and then Super Idol never gets played. Now, why I don't like the season? One, I know she went on to do kind of well at Winners at War. I'll always be on the. I think I'll always be on the Aubrey from the edit that I saw. She got the winner's edit. If
Aubrey would have won, I would not have been upset. And I'm not happier that Michelle won over Aubrey. But I am happy that Michelle won. And if Aubrey won, I wouldn't have been like, oh, Michelle should have won. What I'm trying to say is I feel like it was one of the strongest, because who was the third in Kaôh? Yeah, Ty. And Ty got no votes, right?
None.
So besides, if you take Ty out, I'm not a big Ty fan, to be honest. But
me and you, neither of us are.
Yeah. But what's I'm looking at some of the comments. There you go. What's tough is I think it has one of the strongest. I hate to say final two because it was a final three, but you know what I mean. In that I would have been cool with Aubrey or Michelle won. That doesn't happen with me very often. In fact, I can't think of like the last season that I would have been cool with multiple people winning that made it to the end. I'm trying to do like a quick think. I mean, Philip, maybe Philip, and that's more just because I love watching Philip. But like Fishback and Heroes and Villains is probably the last one that I would have been cool with.
Yeah, Park or Sandra, yeah. Or Russell.
Well, no, I was going to say Russell or Park.
Neither of them won, so it's tough for me to say that. But I agree. Yeah. But
Kaôh Rōng didn't have like that many great moments. It did lull a little bit. The Medivacs. I mean, it had the most Medivacs.
The scariest Medivac of all time with Caleb.
Yeah, which I think hurts the season. I mean, no one wants to see that.
Of course. I mean, of course, I'm on the edge of my seat, but in a bad way because I'm like, is this guy about to die on television?
Yeah, you know? It's tough because I'm trying to pull it up on the screen here. So I'm looking at the other. To me, it's got to be C or D. But it's definitely not an F, and I definitely don't think it's up there with Vanuatu and Samoa and Philippines.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's a middle tier season for me, and what I don't like is I don't like the jury removal. I think that was a dumb twist and highly unnecessary. How many Medivacs? 2 Medivacs?
No, I think it was 3.
3. Okay, 3 Medivacs.
Yeah, because it was the record, and I know Micronesia had 2, and if it had more than Micronesia, then it must have been 3.
3 Medivacs. Sure, the winner was deserving, so that's great. But
to me, to be honest, I'm looking at the other ones. I'm looking at what's in C. I don't think it's as good as Africa. I don't think it's as good as Marquesas, Amazon, Palau.
For me, it's C leaning D.
Yeah, I'm thinking D, which sounds bad, but like I think it's one of the best Ds. It might be the best D.
It might be the best D. It had a pretty good final tribal. But yeah, it was slow at times. The Medivac slowed down, and I hate the jury removal. That just puts a cloud over it for me. I hated it.
Worst twist in Survivor history, I think.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. From a guy who knows a thing or two about strong D, I think it is a strong D here. Moving on to Survivor Millennials versus Gen X. This one's weird because when it aired, I actually wasn't a big fan of it. I rewatched it like a year ago, like last summer, and I liked it a little better. I think my first time watching it, I was upset because I didn't think Adam deserved to win because I feel like he relied too much on his. You think
he deserved it over Ken? Or he didn't deserve it over Ken? You think Ken deserved it more?
I didn't mean necessarily compared to the other people that made it to the end.
Because he was definitely the best of those 3.
Yeah, he was the best of those 3, but I feel like I don't know. This was on my first watch. Now I went back and realized how different it was. And I love when you come into the merge with a lot of big players as opposed to big alliances, if that makes sense.
So Zeke.
David had one of the best arcs like character arcs in a single season in Survivor history.
A Fallen Angel edit. I love it.
Jay. Michaela is okay. I know a lot of people like stan over Michaela for some reason. I don't know why I like Michaela. I think she's like a good player.
Not this guy.
When she returned, I was like, okay, yeah. I wasn't like mad that she returned. I didn't think she was a game changer, but half the season wasn't.
Rock draw.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was like a dagger right there. I mean, that rock draw was probably the most emotional rock draw of all rock draws. Because the one girl who didn't want to go to Ross.
Julia?
Yeah.
Julia?
The one... Julia. I don't know. She works for Rap. Forget her name.
Yeah. I think it's Julie.
Okay. Yeah, Julie. We'll say Julie. I'm bad with names, so... but the one chick who didn't want to do a rock draw drew the rock. So that was...
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Tough scenes.
Her reaction was sad. I liked Ken, and I feel like he was in
Jessica. Thank you.
Jessica. Why did I say Julie?
Oh yeah, Jessica. Of course. Now I remember. When you say the name, I'm like, yeah, Jessica.
Oh, you know what? Her last name is Lewis, isn't it? Maybe I got Lewis, Julie Lewis. Kind of sounds. I don't know. I liked Ken, and Sunday, of course. But I liked Ken, and I feel like he had so many opportunities to make big moves and just didn't because he was so scared that if he broke away from this, I'm just a chill, laid-back guy, in any moment he would just go home.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Kim was a pussy personally. So like, I wasn't the biggest fan. Like, you got the chops to win the immunities, like, and you had so many opportunities to better your game place right in front of you, and you don't do it. It's like, of course you don't deserve that win. If I was a jury member, I'd laugh in his face at tribal council.
Yeah. Hannah, Coach Drew's favorite survivor of all time.
I believe that. I think Hannah and Coach Drew would get along great.
Yeah.
They're both geeks.
In a good way.
In a good way. I love them. I love them both. She has a TikTok. She follows me. She's great. Okay.
To me, it's better than Rōng. And it's no way a B, a C, an A, or an S. To me, Millennials and Gen X is a solid C. Like wouldn't consider it a low C, a high C. I would consider it a mid C. I think Millennials and Gen X might be as average of a Survivor season as you can get.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I'm cool with this C. I mean, it is pretty average. There's definitely some dull moments that knock it down for me. I love Zeke. I love David. I love Jay. Definitely some great cast members there. Yeah, no, I'm good with a C because, C's good.
Moving on to 34, we have Game Changers, which, of course, the biggest thing holding Game Changers back
is that they're not Game Changers.
Is the fact that maybe 3 or 4 people on the cast were game changers. Sari was a game changer. Ozzy was a game changer.
Okay.
JT was a game changer.
Okay.
Sierra, okay. Tony
was a game changer, but wasted potential. Would you say Sandra is a game changer? I think she's a game floater, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, the fact that she won twice was...
It is game changing.
Yeah.
And in terms of legacy, but in terms of gameplay.
Well, I mean, the whole strategy of, as long as it's not me, I mean, a lot of people, while not that many other people maybe said those lines in their confessionals, a lot of people followed and implemented that strategy after her. So I would say Sandra's
more of a game changer than Michaela or Culpepper.
Yeah, Culpepper shouldn't have been on there. Troyzan.
I wanted to see Troyzan back, but is he a game changer?
Yeah, me too. And I wanted to see Brad back. I wanted to see I wouldn't mind seeing Sierra back. I'm trying to think of who else is on that. See, Sierra Don Thomas, not a game changer. And Troy Zan will admit it. Like, he'll be like, "Why was I on this season?" He said that they were constantly ripping on the theme of the season in camp. Of course, they didn't show that because Survivor. Yeah, exactly. Caleb, how was Caleb a game changer?
For almost dying. What do you mean? He almost died. So, game changer right there.
Yeah. I guess that's why. No, Troy Zan would literally be the first to admit that he did not deserve to be on that season. Now, am I going to knock it down a ton of points because of this? No. Did it have a deserving winner? Absolutely. I think Sarah had one of the best. I think Sarah's win in Game Changers is a top 10 win. I was rooting for her from like day 3, and she won. That doesn't normally happen with a guy I root for or a girl I root for makes it to the end. This Haley Ford, come on.
Hold on. How about Debbie? Right?
I forgot she was even on that season.
Debbie. And I'm pissed!
What's crazy is there's 2 survivors who were clearly the biggest game changers the show has ever seen, and neither of them even got invited. And that's Rob Cesternino and Russell Hantz. And neither of them even got invited to the season. That's crazy to me.
Well, they probably Russell probably didn't want to come back at that point.
We also didn't need a returnee season. I mean, after Blood versus Water, we got 3 seasons and we got Cambodia. Okay. Millennials Gen X, another returnee season. And then we get, 3, and then we get another.
And they definitely knew Winners at War was coming.
Yeah. Edge of Extinction would have 4 returnees. The Brad Culpepper athletic, challenge beast run, combating that with
I was bored with that.
Combating that with Sarah Lucina's great social / strategic play. To me, that was interesting because it reminded me of Cook Islands, where you had Ozzy and Yul, who had this great yin and yang, where Ozzy was killing in the challenges and Yul was killing with the social strategic. Now,
but Yul actually put up a fight against Ozzy in challenges. That was the difference for me.
Sarah did okay. Sarah wasn't that bad in challenges, but the difference between that is they were on the same side. So it was kind of like best friends that were like the tag team that you knew were gonna have to clash heads at the end. Whereas Sarah and Brad were at odds, even though actually they were in an alliance that didn't make the edit. So there was a lot of pre-existing. They avoided the pre-existing alliances with that season heavily. Yeah, as like Chris said, way too many advantages for that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Is like, for me, Game Changers, it was great, and I thought it was a good season. A lot of it was carried by Suri, and it was awful, the amount of advantages, and just a mishap on production's part to allow that to even happen. That should never happen in a Survivor season where somebody gets voted out by default. And
of course, it happens with Suri.
And Jeff says it, your name isn't even on any of these, like, you would not have been going home tonight. And I'm sure Jeff felt awful in that moment, and that was his way of being like, I'm so freaking sorry, because he knows that she is a fan favorite, and every time she plays, everybody loves her. I mean, sad.
First time seeing Steal a Vote, which I'm not a fan of. First time seeing the Legacy Advantage, which I'm not a...
Good play on Sarah's part, though. That was a good moment. Like, the whole acting shocked. Like, that was a game-changing move.
Yeah.
Like, Sarah wasn't a game changer, but she definitely showed that she was in the season.
You also had the Jeff Varner and Zeke moment. To me, that knocks it down a few. Andrea was another huge letdown this season. Aubrey was another huge letdown this season. Them clapping and saying goodbye to Suri was great. Also, huge letdown was Suri and Ozzy. It was the biggest blindside in Survivor history. Still is to this day, if you ask me, from Micronesia. And Suri, kind of crafted the whole thing. And we never got to see the fallout of it because Suri didn't make the final tribal council. So we finally, after 10 years had gone by, we finally got to see Suri and Ozzy reunite. And they mentioned it once or twice, and they were just
mentioned it at the beginning. At the beginning, she was like, "Oh, I'm nervous," and then literally the whole conversation they have is like, "Hey, are we good?" And she was like, "It was like, yeah, it's fine."
Yeah,
I mean, Ozzy wasn't let down, in my opinion.
To me, yeah. Oh yeah. We also had JT had the great move of isolating everyone out in the ocean when he found the idol, and then wasted it. Basically, you also had, this was the first time that you had people going up and whispering and making plans at tribal council, which I hate, but if they would give us subtitles, I wouldn't hate it as much. That's the thing, is you don't know what they're saying. So
after season 40, their production is definitely going to have a mic on their neck for sure. If they don't, they're dumb. Yeah,
they need to. To me, I still don't think it's that bad of a season. I definitely wouldn't put it in an F. I would still probably say it's a strong, one of the stronger Ds.
D.
I would. Yeah. What would you say?
I was gonna say low B.
Oh wow! I guess we got to go C then to meet halfway. But I mean, I would have said the biggest D.
A low B. Maybe a high C. I think Game Changers is better than Guatemala.
I mean, coming from a guy who knows a thing or two about the biggest D, I think it's better than Worlds Apart, Caramoan, South Pacific, Rōng, Fiji, and Redemption Island. So I put it up there as the highest D. But it sounds like if you're saying B and I'm saying D, it sounds like we kind of got to meet halfway at C, which I'm not opposed to, because I'm also looking at One World, Guatemala, Gabon, which is actually a D minus, but
frick off, dude.
So yeah, I'm C is fine with me.
C, I put it in C. That'd be good. I don't think it's definitely a lower tier returnee season, but
I think it's the worst all returnee season. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, pretty safe. Yeah,
because it's.
Oh wait, no, I was about to say no. Fans versus favorites. And I was like,
oh yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, because it's not better than Cambodia. It's not better than Winners at War, Heroes and Villains, or All Stars.
All Stars, yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, Malcolm was a dud that season. So many duds.
Well, Malcolm got screwed.
Yeah. Okay, Heroes, Healers, Hustlers. What are you thinking about this one?
Heroes, Healers, Hustlers.
I feel like we've talked about this season before, and I agreed with everything you said. So I might do that again. So what are your thoughts here?
Okay. I don't like the twist.
Fire making.
I don't like the fire making. Not as a whole, but in this season, because they didn't know about it at the beginning. So they couldn't plan it, Now, if you aren't accounting for what is now a staple in the game for the foreseeable future, then that's on you. But Chrissy had no way of knowing and frankly got screwed. And she played a great game.
Right.
I think she deserved to win. But I wouldn't have been mad if she won. I wouldn't have been mad. Ben also played a great game. I'll say that. He after Winners at War, it's hard for me to praise Ben, but he did play a pretty good game. Overall, a pretty decent cast. It was all right. The gameplay had lulls. It's a D for me. I would put it around a D. Maybe a high D, but I just don't really have a lot to say about the season as a whole, And what Chris said, you can't blame Ben, you can't say, oh well, Ben, Yeah, I agree with Chris, but still.
Yeah. No, I agree with all that. Decent winner. I like Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike was a good character. So was what's it? Is it not Jay? Oh gosh,
Joe.
I'm gonna have to, Joe. Thank you. So is Joe.
I just feel like for as many cool characters there was just as much a whatever character, and none of the cool characters were like iconic. Like I don't think Ben, Dr. Mike, Chrissy, Joe, like they're good characters, but they're not like your Christians or your Phillips or even your Nicks or your Wendells or your Doms. Yeah, Joe Mania. No, I'm cool. I think D. I think high D.
Probably high D because I do like the gameplay. I do like the gameplay, and there was good strategy going on, and the heel turn of Chrissy, going from a hero to being very villainous, like that was great. That was a good story. I liked that.
Yeah.
Ben talking about his PTSD and that moment where like the bamboo cracks and he like has to go under the water and everybody's like freaking out about him. Like that was a good moment, not for Ben, but it was like it gave him a platform to talk about PTSD and stuff like that. So I thought that was good, and it establishes Ben as a a character and a guy that people would like, which is good because he ended up winning. So yeah, I like Ben. I did like Ben in this season, not Winners at War, and I thought Chrissy was a great player. Tied for the most dominant female challenge record season. Tribal Poverty now.
Yeah. 4.
Yeah, so
with
good.
Jenna, Kim,
Poverty.
I think Poverty only had 3.
Oh, I thought Poverty had 4 for some reason.
She might have had 4 overall. I think she only had 3.
Okay.
I don't know. But okay, yeah, I agree with all that. Ghost Island, I feel like we might
disagree.
On this one.
Yeah, for sure.
I really enjoy Ghost Island. I thought I wasn't gonna like the Ghost Island, like Ghost Island itself. Didn't at first. Slowly was really liking it because it was giving me like a trip down memory lane with all like going back to James idols and Eric's idol. The only bad thing was that I don't think any of them. The whole thing was, are we going to redeem the bad or misplayed idol move? And I don't think any of them, maybe one. So that was it was kind of a waste, but it felt like a cool it wasn't in the end of an era, but it felt like the end of an era because it felt like the credits. Like if this era of Survivor was like a movie, this Ghost Island felt like the credits because it gave you the throwbacks to all the other seasons. That I love. I love that. You know me. I love dynamic duos. So Dom and Wendell being one of, if not the best dynamic duo in Survivor history, and the fact that they came to a tie, love the tie, was great. The rivalry between Chris and Dom, super underrated. One of the best top 10 Survivor rivalries ever.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. I've never seen, to me, like some people will love seasons like Redemption Island or One World, where you come to Final Tribal Council, one player just dominated the whole season, and you like that, and they're going to win. I would personally I feel like we've never had a Final 3 where everyone deserved to win. Still have it, and this wasn't one of them. But when you have 2 people that deserve to win the game so much, I love those. That's why I love Cook Island so much. That's why I like Tokenshin so much, Heroes and Villains, because when at least two people make it that far and each deserve to win highly, and with different styles of play, similar to JT and Wendell. Dom was the more, outgoing, his game was right there in front of your face. He would be in your face and aggressive, not cocky and arrogant, but he would be aggressive and he would make you know it. Wendell was a lot more laid back and chill. You know me, I'm a huge Wendell fan. I think he's one of the best new school winners, top 3 new school winners. Yeah, I'm a really big Wendell fan from an all newbie season. To me, it's I would say A. The only reason I won't put it at A is because I do think there's a lot of characters that just didn't amount to, like, didn't bring anything to the season.
Nothing.
When someone like
Nothing at
Donathan,
all.
is one of the most, like Laurel, who made it all the way to the final three, was a complete, like, there was so many people in Ghost Island that were so scared. It was the most paranoid I've seen people play. You had either super aggressive confidence or you had super paranoia.
Okay.
So for that reason, I put it in a B. What are you thinking?
Okay, yeah. The thing about the cast, what you said, exclamation mark on that. I mean, Brendan Shapiro, freaking James Lim, Jenna Bauman, Libby Vinek, Stephanie Gonzalez, Stephanie Johnson, Angela Perkins, Bradley College, Chelsea Townsend, Desiree Afuye. I mean, who are these people? Who are these people? Okay, I don't know who they are.
Libby does she does the recaps on Russell's channel. Libby, blonde.
Good for her. I don't know who she is. I mean, good for her. I don't know who these people are. This is the season where I don't know almost anybody, and it's not just because I'm an idiot. It's because like I genuinely like, you know, I'm not the biggest Survivor. Like, like Coach Drew. I'm rewatching it again for my 500th time. Like, I genuinely like so many players that like, who the heck are they, and what role did they even serve? I'll give you that. I'll give you that Dom and Wendell's like a very dynamic duo. They work together very well. I mean, I'm excited to talk to Wendell in the future, but I like I said, I'm not a fan of the smack talking challenges. I think that Wendell should shut up and win the challenges, which is me liking Wendell because I want him to win the challenges. I was cheering for him in the challenges, and I was like, Wendell, shut the frick up, put the puzzle piece into place, tell Jeff to get over there and look at the freaking puzzle. Dom's a great player. They sure did use Laurel as a pawn, which was annoying to see. Hey, if you got somebody at your disposal, do it. I think the cast. I think the theme was very much pushed under the rug. I think the cast overall is just kind of lacking. Besides a few people, I hated Ghost Island. I would put it at a D.
Oh man,
I freaking hated it, dude.
Also, Michael Yerger.
I couldn't. I know. Congratulations. I know Michael Yerger is. I know his idol. That's why I left him out. And I love Chris Noble. Literally, like, such a douche. But
I guess we got to put it as a C then.
The best moment is Wendell holding up Chris's name and saying, "You can't rap." You know, like, stop that you can rap. Like, that's a great moment. Okay, that made me like him. But yeah, I don't like Ghost Island as a season at all. It's all close to it. I get bored.
So I said B, you said D. So we had to meet halfway in C, which I'm cool with. I think
I cannot put Ghost Island on par with Vanuatu and Samoa, bro. I'm not gonna do that to him.
No worries. I think C is good. David and Goliath to me is either the lowest A or the highest B.
David versus Goliath?
It's either the lowest A or the highest B, because my initial instinct is A, but I'm looking and I like, besides Blood and Water, but that was more you putting it in A. I like All Stars, Cook Islands, China, Micronesia, Tocantins, and Cambodia all more than David and Goliath, but I like David and Goliath better than San Juan, Philippines, Samoa, Vanuatu, Panama, and Australian Outback. So again, to me, it's the highest B or the lowest A.
Okay, and I want to put it in A, and let me explain why. Okay. It's like, I know we're not taking into account the legacy of the seasons, but like, if you made me put my initial reaction, like what I freaking want to do, like immediately what rank to put it as, I'd say F's, because I was thirsting for somewhat of a decent newbie season. Like, please, God, give me a newbie season where I kind of freaking like people and like the gameplay and like the season overall. And we finally got it. Me and you say it all the time. It's the best newbie season since Kagayan. And the only good one since Kagayan. So, like, for that reason, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, coming into this, I was like, that too. But I was like, coming into this, I was like, like, am I gonna put this in S? Am I really gonna do that? No, I would say A. But a great cast. I mean, I do like Nick. He did play an overall good game. His challenge run at the end was absolutely beautiful to watch. The Godfather Carl, a soft spot in my heart.
We interviewed him.
Check that out. Look it up after this. And as Christian's saying in the live chat, Medivacs do bring it down a bit. But the Medivac low-key saved Nick at the beginning. If I'm...
And it was episode 1. It wasn't like it was
halfway
through. Yeah.
Very sad to see, of course, yes.
I liked how bad the weather got. I mean, I know it took away from the gameplay a little bit, but like we've seen... It's like... We haven't since New School Survivor, because Fiji is normally a very good weather location. So the survival aspect of how tough it is out there had been gone for so long, and seeing them having to be evacuated twice, to me that was awesome. Talk about like emotional investment. Of course, everyone's gonna be rooting for the Davids. So the fact that a David beat 2 Goliaths at the end was awesome. The idol nullifier, while I never want to see it back, the fact that it was an incredible moment when that idol nullifier came out. I mean,
a great moment. I hate the idol nullifier, but in that moment, I was like, I like it. I only hated it because of later actions that we'll definitely talk about. I mean, you have a great character in Davy, definitely coming back. Like, holy crap, she's pretty awesome. Gabby was pretty cool. She was annoying at times, but overall, pretty good player. Christian, probably one of the greatest personalities to Gray Survivor as a newbie since who? I don't know. Carl, obviously, a great character as the Godfather. Yeah, maybe Philip. I mean, Nick, a very deserving winner. Then you get to the Goliaths. I mean, Natalie, probably the best pre-merge villain of all time. The "Can I have your jacket" moment was awesome from Angelina. I hated Angelina, but I loved to hate her, if that makes sense. And then you had the Bro Chacho alliance. That was great. Nick naming all the alliances. That was great. I'm cool
with putting it in A.
A's good with me. The gameplay was great, obviously. I mean, you had great twists, shifts of power, great characters overall. Maybe a few. You could make the case that a few of them were duds, but overall, this is the best cast and the best newbie season since Kagayan, as we said. So, yeah, A is good with me.
Honestly, Kagayan's a better season, but I could totally hear the argument of David and Goliath being a better cast.
Cast, yeah. I mean, you
not
could.
By much, but...
Not by a lot, but I would hear you out and not laugh at you if you said that.
Yeah. Okay, these next 2 should be interesting. I think we'll be on the same page with Winners at War.
Okay.
To me, Edge of Extinction's an F.
Okay, to me it's not.
I think Edge of Extinction is the single worst theme we've ever seen.
I hated the Edge.
I think it's the most undeserving winner we've ever seen.
I agree.
And I like Chris. Like, I think he's a good guy, and I'm not saying he's a bad Survivor player.
Okay.
I'm not saying Chris is a bad Survivor player. He played it perfect in the finale, like as perfect as in an episode as you can be.
He was the poster child for how to win on the Edge, which affected season 40.
But I still think he's the most undeserving winner. I think Natalie White is easily a more deserving winner than Chris is.
Oh, yeah.
Rick is great. David was okay. A little bit of a letdown. Wanted to see a lot more. Aubrey, complete bust. Joe played exactly how he's played every game, and it got him nowhere again.
Wentworth,
bust. I don't, War Dog's cool. He ruined his game with voting out Wentworth way too early. Lauren is okay.
Somebody always has to overplay. Yeah. This time it was War Dog.
Yeah.
I mean, War Dog just wanted to say he got out Kelly Wentworth. Like, congratulations. How's your game now?
Yeah. Great finale. Every time they would cut to the edge scenes, I would just tune out. Like, I didn't even want to watch it. So my emotional investment, which to me is the two single biggest things are how deserving the winner is and how emotionally invested am I in the season. Yeah. This was one of the worst emotional investments I've ever been in. The only thing that kept me invested was Rick Devens, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
and it had the worst winner. To me, it's an F. I will say it's not the worst F. I do think Nicaragua and Thailand are worse. So I guess I could say F+, and I could maybe be talked into a D-, but to me, it's
see, there's no fighting on this because I'm not just gonna like beat bullcrap like say C so I can go in D. But like, yeah, for me, it would be a low D. So honestly, you can go with F.
Good.
I have a take. Hot take. Can I say my hot take? Island of the Idols has a good cast.
I'll agree with that.
I like the cast. It's a good cast.
I think it was so clear that while David and Goliath and Edge of Extinction had players who knew how to play, I think Island of the Idols, while it was a good cast personality, character-wise, to me it was so clear, the most clear it's been since Redemption Island, that there was so many recruits on this season. Dean had seen like almost, I think like his brother was a huge fan, so he applied because of his brother. Missy was a big fan. I did like Missy. Elizabeth had never seen an episode. There was just a lot of, I don't want to run through everybody, but I liked Lauren was okay. It took me a while. I like Lauren. I like Lauren. Tommy, I feel like he was an okay winner, like upper mid tier, but I was rooting for Dean so hard. Of course, you cannot look past the obvious, the controversy of the season. To me,
I mean, we're not talking to survivors. Me and you can talk about it. It's cool.
Yeah. To me, you can't look past it. To me, that knocks it down a whole bunch. And the fact that Dan was eliminated in 5th place, like if he was eliminated, like if it was something like Caleb, where he got medevac early.
And I'll say this, and the fact that they still like gave him like an edit and like a platform to talk the whole time. I mean, as an editor, it's like, of course, like I guess you have to include him because he is a part of the gameplay. But I mean, he still got more confessionals than some.
Yeah. Kelly going home with 2 idols, and it was just, Dean. As much as I love Dean, he took so long to kick it into high gear. I know a lot of people liked Janet, but for some reason I was rooting against her. Like I like her.
Why?
I feel like I don't know. I was just rooting against her.
Why?
It was just.
That was everybody was rooting for Janet to win at Final 5, which brings me to a point that I don't like it because, like, hot take, you take Dan out of the season, maybe we get a C. Okay,
maybe.
But the I don't know fire and the move on Janet obviously brings it down. I think I think the actual Island of the Idols was so unnecessary. I would have liked to see this season without Rob and Sandra. Just a complete waste of time. The guy who won was the guy that didn't go to the island. As we know now, after seeing Winners at War, Rob and Sandra don't know everything. Definitely. I mean, they're what are they? The freaking 3rd and 4th boot? I mean, golly.
I wouldn't put Rob amongst the top 20 Survivor players. I wouldn't put Boston Rob in the top 20 most skilled Survivor players of all time. Honestly. So, I mean, In Marquesas, he had a horrible showing. In All-Stars, he stepped it up, but lost because of his own actions. Wasn't like anyone outbeat him. He lost because of his own actions. Heroes and Villains got completely outplayed. Redemption Island, as you heard from me talk before, was literally handed that win on a silver platter.
Say, look,
Winners at War completely outplayed.
Of course, I agree with you as of right now. And, like, if we see Rob, because, this was technically Rob coming off of Redemption Island. But a stupid move for we'll talk about this in Winners at War. We aren't talking about.
To me, it's enough.
Okay, well, I think it's a high D. So
I'm cool putting it in D.
I think Island of the Idols is better than the Edge of Extinction, and the only reason that Edge of Extinction isn't worse than Nicaragua is because Rick Devens is the highlight of the season. Because Island of the Idols, pretty much everybody was a bust except for getting to see Rick play a terrific game. And then him getting snubbed by an undeserving winner was just awful. If Rick wins the Fireman Challenge, maybe I put it as a solid D or maybe a low C. And, it sucks for Island of the Idols that I can't put it in C because Island of the Idols legitimately got me back into Survivor. I'd fallen out of love with Survivor after Ghost Island, which is why I hate it so much. It's like after that I was just like, okay, this just sucks. Like I can't even watch it anymore. And watching Island of the Idols brought me back because I loved Elaine. I think Elaine.
David Goliath didn't bring you back?
No, I didn't give it a chance. I just didn't give it a chance at all. I watched it for the first time after Winners at War.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a great season, and it would have got me back in, but I just didn't give it a chance. I just saw on my TV Island of the Idols just recorded, because I still had Survivor being recorded, and I watched it, and then cue me getting back into Survivor, sending you a message to podcast with you. Then our love story begins. But it's like I loved Elaine. Me and my dad were both rooting for Elaine the whole freaking time. Lauren, after the merge, really liked her then. Definitely a great strategist and social player. Janet, I love seeing her social gameplay. It was a good tribal council because from the edit, it makes you feel like Dean's coming into this and he's gonna win. And then you see Tommy make a great case, and Dean just gets crapped on in final tribal.
Who was the third? Nora.
Nora. And Nora, I mean, just a person that you hate. I love to hate. Annoys the crap out of you, but she's great television.
Super nice person, though.
Yeah, of course. We only see an edit, so we don't know how Nora actually is. But she was painted as the annoying person on the show, and it made it entertaining, Definitely a lot of duds. Definitely the biggest dud of all time. The biggest casting mistake of all time. Mm-hmm. But barring that, if you can find yourself to move past the fact that Dan Spilo is a creep, then maybe you can appreciate that there was definitely some highlights in the season, some bright moments in the season. On the island, away from Rob and Sandra, and away from Dan's creepy fingers.
Yeah, I'm cool with D.
I like it. I like the season.
We have 3 Ds. 3 Ds. So far we have 3 Ds. Well, I'll do a recap at the end because we got one more. To me, Winners at War, season 40, our last one. The journey ends here. Till we do this. Till we do an update in 5 years.
Okay.
To me, Winners at War is an A, and I would have put it at B. Okay, so obviously it has the best cast ever because there's no duds on the cast. Even Heroes and Villains had a couple duds on the cast. This had 0 duds, but it's an all returnee season, so it's hard to say it's the best cast. It's best cast with an asterisk. It had players that we thought would never come back that did in a good way.
Ethan, Danny,
Amber.
Amber.
Players that we always wanted to see come back, but never actually thought they would. Kim,
Sophie, Kim.
Sophie. And pitted them against each other. It was the greatest mix of it's what they wanted Millennials and Gen X and probably even David and Goliath to be, this old school versus new school thing. I think they wanted that to be a thing without making it like an actual season, old school versus new school. But this, this really hit home with the new school and old school. Had some great moments, great blindsides, great idol play. The extortion episode is, in my opinion, one of the greatest episodes, like top 25 episodes of Survivor history. Best win.
Yeah. Best win of all time. Yeah.
I would have put it at a B because there was a lot of confusion. There was a couple, and check out our episode. Me and Chris interviewed Luke Toki, sort of like the Boston Rob of Australian Survivor, like the
has he won
fan favorite. No, but he's like the all-time fan favorite, greatest, like you could say greatest to never win. But
then he's not.
Maybe the Russell of it. And what he said was very true in that a lot of times people would get voted out and you wouldn't really see the full reason why. A lot of episodes were rushed. It felt like. There was a couple letdowns. There was a couple edit choices that I hated, like Nick being the annoying pest guy, Wendell being the villain.
Yeah.
Ben, for some reason, got way more screen time than he needed. The only reason I'm going to put it as an A is because it had the single best finale in Survivor history. So that's my take. I put it as an A.
For that. S.
Oh, Winners at War an S. And I would say a low A.
Winners at War is an S plus.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, great TV, quick gameplay. Sandra get exposed for the quitter she is. You see Boston Rob play. I mean, Boston Rob was 17 out of 20, which shows you how good the gameplay was this season.
Or it shows you how not good Boston Rob actually is.
He shouldn't have done that against Winners. I agree. It was terrible gameplay. But even that episode was just awesome just to see, the buddy system implemented. I mean, that's a great episode. Don't deny that. And then Ben and Adam trying to signal over. Episode. Ben and Adam because trying to signal over. I want to punch you. Okay. Ben and Adam threw each other being like, hey, we're with you. Like just whispering. And that's all they have to go on. It's like, yeah, we're with you. Yeah. Friggin', of course, this is the first time I've ever cried at Survivor. When Tony and Sarah had to duel it out. That was great. The 4-3-2 set blindside, on Sophie, and Sophie redeeming her, validating her win. Michelle validating her win, showing I can do this. Sophie showing I can do this. Cops R Us is great. Sandra being voted out on her own idol is awesome. And that was just pre-merge. Then the merge hits, and all of a sudden you don't know who's going home. And that's the only knock that I could have on Winners at War, which is sometimes it was a little too quick to where I got confused why the person went home. That's the only knock that I have the whole season. It's an S. The best finale of all time. Every finale needs to be 3 hours. Okay, go ahead.
Is Winners at War better than Micronesia?
Yep. I think so.
Better than China? Better than...
I think so. It's just everything. I mean, Tony playing the best game of all time, nobody picked Tony to win because the target is just so freaking big. And it was honestly beautiful. I don't think anybody else can play a game like Tony did. I mean, he is out of this world. He is a superhuman. Sarah, a great character. Natalie coming back and just being like the thorn in everyone's side. I mean, I hated Natalie this season, and just her coming back. I wish. Now I'm friends with Tyson. I wish the first person coming back into the Edge meant a little more. I'll say that much. Because Tyson coming back in just to get right back out, disappointing.
Oh my gosh. I just can't believe you think this is an S.
The Adam Podium Idol? Of course, dude. One of the greatest moments, literally going to shape Survivor history because he tugged on the idol.
That was a good moment.
Of course, dude. So many memorable moments happened in Survivor Winners at War.
What are you guys thinking? Tell me what you guys think in the chat. We got a good amount of people here in the chat. We got 1A. Okay.
We can't go to we're not going to the chat, Adam. You can't go to the chat. If we're going to go to the chat, Christian thinks it's an S.
Where?
Scroll up.
I'm looking.
Look. Raccoon thinks it's an S. Ryan thinks it's an S. People love this season. Finally, since David and Goliath, we enjoy a season. A returnee season. You know, after Game Changers, people have a bad taste in their mouth from returnees. And then the Edge comes. You have a terrible captain season. You have Island of the Idols and Rob and Sandra. Like, what the frick does that even mean? I love the season. Like, I'm not saying I don't like it. Like, I think Winners at War is one of the best seasons. One of the best. I think it's meta. I think it's a meta season. It deserves an S.
Returnee season. Like, I loved Winners at War. It had the best win we've ever seen. It had the best cast we've ever seen. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm knocking the season.
Then why? That's literally our whole entire effing criteria, dude. Are you just pissed that we didn't get a reunion or something? Like, get your panties out of the line.
I mean, I'm not that upset with putting it in.
The vibe.
I
just want to say, like, just like great editing on the editor's part. Like, I feel like as a person that's, you know, majoring in acting and learning a bit about, you know, editing and cinematography and everything like that. I mean, other than the cringy standing on the water buoy and like that whole like music video that happened, I was a little confused at that. But I mean, everything else, like the cinematography is great. The Edge finally means something. They have challenges to look forward to. Even though Boston Rob's voted out, we still get Boston Rob still's got it in him. He got fire tokens, whatever. You know, seeing a great fire making challenge, seeing the look on Natalie's face when she realized she doesn't want and just got mopped by Tony. That was awesome. I mean,
see, I knew that no one from the Edge was going to win. In a newbie season, I thought it was a possibility. In the returnee season, especially a winner's season, I knew there was no chance that no matter who came back.
It's an S, but I disagree with this. I think that was a knock. I didn't like the family visit.
So every time that they showed us the Edge of Extinction, like, yes, Ethan pushing through was cool, Rob pushing through was cool, but I knew that those winners were not going to vote. They knew that the winner of this season was going to be the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Was going to be considered, no matter who won, was probably going to be considered the new greatest of all time.
If Natalie wins, then we're not calling her the greatest of all time, because then we'll just say, well, she came back from the Edge, and you know.
So they would have never voted for the Edge person.
Yeah.
It was never ever going to happen. So.
Do you believe
every time
them?
They showed us the Edge, I just tuned. I was like, whatever. Like, this is nothing. I'm watching nothing right now. But like I was watching Ponderosa. But like I was watching people who were at Ponderosa but were starving.
Nah, I disagree. Just because, you know, we're still thinking like a person from the Edge mathematically could have won. Do you believe? Okay, are you telling me? Because survivors that were on the island and on the Edge still say this, that if she played in the way that Chris did, went to fire making and took out Tony herself, that she wouldn't have won, or at least been close to winning, Adam.
I think Sarah would have won easily. It was 12-4. If that would have happened, I would say Sarah wins 10-6, maybe. I mean, I'll give you an S. It had an amazing winner. It had great moments. I didn't like the edge. I didn't like the the bad edits on certain people. I didn't like the confusing. Wait, why did that person go home? I didn't like the fire tokens.
But this is the problem, Adam. Every season has to have somebody that's annoying, somebody that's a villain. You know, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna pick on the war vet? You know, it's like, come on.
Why? Why do we need that?
Well, I can definitely see that Nick definitely didn't play his best game and probably maybe could have been seen as butting in on conversations. Maybe not to the, obviously that's very hyperbolic. And, I never liked Wendell in the first place. So I understood him getting the villains edit. I'm excited to talk to him and not like squash that. But I mean, I saw that, I definitely think he got the villain edit, but I can definitely see why they gave it to Wendell. Because Michelle was the hero.
Because the finale was so amazing, I'll cave and agree that it's an S. Are you happy?
It's the greatest finale of all time. If you disagree, then get your eyes checked and your ears checked. Because you're wrong. Period.
So there we are. 3 Fs, 4 S's. So from this episode, we had, I think we did it. We put one. No, we didn't put any B's because we had Winners of War in S, Cambodia, David and Goliath in A, Ghost Island, Game Changers, Millennials and Gen X in C, Island of the Idols, Kaôh, Rōng, Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers at D, and we had Edge of Extinction as an F. So we had the greatest variety. So there it is. So
I mean, I can already see the Survivor community crying over our list. But the thing is like, no matter what, Survivor fans are hardcore. And over any tier, list, we made waves with our tier ranking the winners, we really did. And people were pissed at that. And people are going to be pissed at this one. But at the end of the day, there's a reason that they're watching us. It's this is our opinion. If you want to make a tier list and make it better than ours, then, stream it. Somebody will watch it, not us. But, it's like, I think this is a solid list. And, if somebody disagrees with one of our rankings, Adam will blame it on me. I'll blame it on Adam. And, all good. Yeah, if we post this on Reddit, we will be somebody will say like, I know where you live, I'm gonna kill you. But I don't care. I like the list. I've had a lot of fun doing this with you, Adam. I liked our healthy arguments that we always have about certain seasons. I love Gabon, and Island of the Idols has a redeemable cast besides Dan Spilo. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for everyone that watched this from part 1. We appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to be doing more tier lists. We're going to tier rank the runner-ups at some point soon. Next week, we are going to do a dream cast of Survivor's Third Time's a Charm. So it's players who have played 2 times but have never won.
Okay.
And we're going to do a dream cast. So we did a dream cast of Heroes and Villains 2 with the Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa. Check that video out. We did a Building Survivor Mount Rushmore with Peridium. Check that out. We've done 9 Survivor interviews, including, but not limited to, Johnny Fairplay, Russell Hance, Rick Devens, Carl, Mama C. Some good ones. Check all those out. Be sure to subscribe. Join our Discord. The link is down there at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Join
Follow us
our
on
Discord.
TikTok.
Yeah. Follow us on TikTok.
At the Survivor Buffs.
And don't forget to check out tomorrow. We are going to have a Survivor reality extravaganza. 12 players, all here on Reality Pop. And we're going to be joined by a special guest.
Big competition. Can we say who it is or no?
I'll leave that as a surprise.
We do have a very big special guest. He or she played Survivor and is pretty notable. So check it out, guys. Be there tomorrow for our Survivor trivia. Also coming up next week, or in the near future, I am a TikToker. I've contacted her. Charlie D'Amelio is coming on to talk with us, as Adam's mentioned many times. So be on the lookout for that, guys. Charlie D'Amelio is actually a big Survivor fan.
Cool. All right, you know what? I'll tell them who's gonna come.
Really? We can say it. We can say it. Wait, come on. Yeah. Say it.
The person coming to our trivia